In the previous course lecture, we looked at the Jewish tradition or Judaism to explore how the Hebrew scripture, to be more specific, the book of Ecclesiastes, which is found in the first part of the Bible, to learn how the author speaks about the pursuit of happiness or how to live the good life. So today we're going to look at another tradition that is very specific to the Christian tradition. I have assigned a book in the New Testament, the second part of the Bible, more specifically the Gospel of Matthew 5, 6, and 7. And it's a series of teaching, a series of sermons which the series of teachings are attributed to Jesus under the title the Sermon on the Mount. The Sermon on the Mount bears that name because many scholars, interpreters believe Jesus delivered a series of teaching, or sermons on top of the mount. So the mountain is called the Mount, so the Sermon on the Mount. So the Sermon on the Mount is an expression of Jesus's vision of the good life, of happiness. In fact, it's a counter-cultural expression or counter-cultural idea of what the good life consists, or what the blessed life entails, or what the fulfilled and happy life consists of. So Jesus pronounces a series of counter cultural statements that are in conflict with even our own, the way we, as a modern society in the West, to be more specific, we in contemporary U.S. society define the good life, and Jesus's vision of the good life counters our cultural ideals of success, power, material wealth, as we have observed in Judaism in the book of Ecclesiastes. However, Jesus's alternative of the good life, or the fulfilled life, or human flourishing, is based on 3 to 4 ideals. Those ideals include spiritual humility, to be humble before God, inner transformation. Jesus is concerned about these things that are in our hearts, in our thoughts, in our ideas. Also, he is also concerned about our reliance on God, what we might call divine dependence. The blessed life, the happy life, according to the Sermon on the Mount, consists of what we call Beatitudes. There are 8 declarations of blessing, of the blessed life. The Greek word for the word that translates as beatitude or blessed in English is Makarios. Makarios, M-A-K-A-R. I'm sorry for the short pause. It's the Greek word Makarios, Makarios. So as I mentioned before, this the Greek word translates in English as blessed, blessed, or beatitude. So Jesus pronounces 8 of those in response to his countercultural vision of the good, blessed, satisfied, and happy life. Now, each one of those declarations articulates a specific vision, perspective about life, our relationships with each other, most importantly, our relationship with God. The first one states, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." So now, for Jesus, the good life or the happy life entails that people who are, not only people who are dependent upon God for their spiritual growth, but those individuals possess spiritual humility. So that means they are in a state of spiritual neediness, and the need of God. The second one, Jesus pronounced, "Blessed are those who mourn." So this is a reference to people who grieve over the evil of the world. They grieve over suffering. So s- such people are empathetic to human suffering, and they grieve over what's going on in the world. Jesus calls these people happy. They are happy, they're satisfied. This is what the good life consists. Blessed are the meek. Now, Jesus here is emphasizing the idea of humility. So, those who are humble, people who are humble, not those who are self assertive. Again, we cannot um, apply this idea in all circumstances. There are some circumstances in life where you have to be self assertive, okay? But there are also circumstances in life that call for humility. Sometimes it's better not to talk or not to respond, okay? Not to be self assertive, but to let the evidence speak on your behalf. Another declaration Jesus makes states, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness." You see, Jesus pronounces that people who are making contribution to a just world, to a world of order, divine order, these individuals will be blessed. They're the happy ones. Other declarations might include pure in heart, peacemakers. Jesus says the people who pursue peace, who are peacemakers or peace builders, are the ones who should be called not only children of God, but they know how to live the happy life, the fulfilled life. So, again, Jesus redefines blessedness, Makarios, okay, in terms of character building, okay, character building, just like we have seen with Confucius, right? Character building, character formation, and our relationship with the divine, okay, regardless of our social status, regardless of our reputation. He also defines the good life in terms how we treat people and our roles and functions in life, because he says people who pursue peace, people who make peace, people who initiate peace, people who are peacemakers, they are the ones who will be blessed. They are the ones who will be happy in this life because they know how to pursue the common good, the things in this world that will benefit everybody. So, according to Jesus, the key point is this: the good life is not just about doing good, but being good. Doing good is action, right? So this is good too, but it's about being good. That means character. So we have to have a heart, a mind that is predisposed towards good. Okay? This is why Jesus emphasizes one of the characteristics of the good life or the happy life is inner transformation. It's talking about our inner self, just like Confucius, right? Argues for to having a transformation of the mind and of the heart. And finally, to bring this to a close, for Jesus, the happy life consists a life of obedience. Obedience, a life of resilience. Okay? So for Jesus, people should obey the commands of God. People should seek God in order to pursue the good life. Jesus never imagines that we as God's creation could have a fulfilled life, a satisfied life apart from God. Okay? Anyway, so the Sermon on the Mount, which is attributed to Jesus, challenges conventional wisdom or conventional teachings, conventional ideas about the pursuit of happiness, the good life, the blessed life, and success. So rather, for Jesus, the good life, it consists of a life that is rooted, grounded in mercy, purity of the heart, dependence on God, or spiritual humility. The good life is marked by a life of integrity, a life of honesty, a life of ethical, a life that is grounded on an ethical framework. So this is what we call inner righteousness. So a life, the meaningful life for Jesus is grounded on trusting the divine, a life that is grounded on in simplicity. To bring this to a close, this conversation to a close, let me leave you with some reflection questions. How does Jesus' description of the blessed life contrast with modern cultural ideals? That is, our contemporary perspectives on a life that brings success, on a life that brings wealth, even reputation. The second question is this: what might it look like to hunger and thirst for righteousness today? Again, do not let the word righteousness fool you. It's a reference to justice, right? The word righteousness is a reference to justice. It's a reference to the pursuit of a world that is structured according to fairness, okay? Justice as fairness, a world that is framed within a moral framework. I hope that was helpful to you. So today we looked at the Christian tradition on the good life. To be more specific, Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, which is found in the Gospel of Matthew, Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7.